Number 46, parallelograms. What are the properties of parallelograms? We're going to recognize and apply properties of sides, angles, and diagonals of parallelograms. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pair of opposite sides parallel. So when you name a parallelogram, you just put the little parallelogram symbol, and then you got four vertices. So this picture down here is parallelogram A, B, C, D. That simple. In a parallelogram ABCD, we can see that BC is parallel to AD, and that's evident from these two arrows or triangles that are showing parallel, and then AB is parallel to CD because we have these sets of triangles that are parallel. So then there are some properties that go with determining if a figure is a parallelogram, because every four-sided figure is not a parallelogram, right? So the first one, if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then opposite sides are congruent. So that's our first property. Opposite sides are congruent. Next, if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then opposite angles are congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. So you got J and L that are congruent, and K and M that are congruent. If a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then consecutive angles are supplementary. So angle J plus angle K has to be 180. K plus L has to be 180. L plus M has to be 180. M plus J is 180. So consecutive angles are supplementary, excuse me. And then if a parallelogram has one right triangle, then it has four right triangles, which of course makes sense, because if they have to be supplementary, then 90 plus 90 plus 90, right? All right, so those are our properties, right? The beginning ones. So look at this picture. If in parallelogram ABCD, suppose that the measure of angle B is 32 degrees, CD is equal to 80, and BC is equal to 15. Jason, what's AD? You don't even gotta do no work. AD. No, try again. No, it's not. What's AD? Yeah, A like apple, D like dog. What's the length? Yes, 15. Oh, no, AB is 80 though. Good job. All right. Next, if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then its diagonals bisect each other. So if the diagonals bisect each other, let's say I'm looking at this picture that's on here, that means that AP is congruent to PC. And then that means that DP is congruent to PB. Okay, so the diagonals will bisect each other. And then lastly, if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then each diagonal separates the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. So if I draw this diagonal from B to D, now I have two congruent triangles, which now, oh my goodness, we can apply different things that have to do with congruent triangles to talk about this parallelogram, right? Because we know corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So all that gibberish comes back. Somebody left us. All right. So next, here we have WXYZ. It's a parallelogram. What's the value of R? What is the value of R? And so in case we're struggling, I see, that's why I said in case we're struggling, here's R right here. See, I was going to circle it for you. I just had to get my pen out. So what is R? Let's see who's doing this one. Sergio, where he at? I saw him earlier. Is he still here? Sergio done skipped out on us. I tell you.
Wait, if they doing it, you have to ask them.
Yep.
You need to get the attendance.
Hmm?
You need to get the attendance.
Y'all let me do what I do over here. Irvin,
What did it be 4.5?
you next. Yeah, how you get 4.5?
Because 18 divided by 4 is 4.5.
Okay, I can go with that. But why did you do 18 divided by 4?
Because WX is congruent. It's the same thing as DY.
Yes, that's what I needed to hear. So, oops. Oh gosh. I had this perfectly lined up. Boom. Somebody send me a chat. Hold on. Oh, I have to go, Miss Right. Okay. All right. So yes, you're correct. So WX is equal to ZY. So 4R is equal to 18. And then R, you get 9/2, which is 4.5. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Next. On to the next one. Y'all are doing awesome. Same image. Now they want to know what is S. What is S? S is right here. And S is also right here. So what is S? Let's see who's up. Carissa, you're up on this one. You're up. Carissa, what you got, girl?
I got 3.
How do you get that?
I said 7s plus 3 equals 8s, and then I solved it. I subtracted the 3 from the thing and did all the stuff, and I just got s equals 3.
Now, how did you know that 7s plus 3 is equal to 8s?
Because I knew because the thing bisected it, I knew that both parts were going to be equal to each other.
Yes, because the diagonals bisect each other, right? So that means that this segment is equal to this segment, their lengths. All right, next. So the converse then is true for all of the properties. If both pairs of opposite sides are of a quadrilateral are congruent, then it's a quadrilateral, is a parallelogram. If opposite angles are congruent, it's a parallelogram. If the diagonals bisect each other, it's a parallelogram. And here's a new one. If opposite sides are both congruent and parallel, then it is a parallelogram. So looking at this picture, Emily, is this a parallelogram?
Yes,
How do you know?
because both of the pairs of sides are congruent.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Next. Find X and Y so that the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So what has to happen for this quadrilateral to be a parallelogram? Emily just told us. What has to happen? Speak up. Yep, opposite sides have to be equal. So set it up, do the work. Let's go. Yes. Okay. So let's pick the next person. Simone, what did you come up with for, let's do A, B, and C, D. So let's do X. What did you come up with for X? 7, yes, because we got 4x minus 1 is equal to 3 times x plus 2, and then you just solve that. Okay. Kiana, what did you come up with for y?
Y equal 5.
Yes. So y is equal to 5. All right, y'all got questions on that? Okay, we moving right along. Excellent, thank you. Next. So here are all the things that you need. If you can show either one of these 5 things, then you can say that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. If you can show that opposite sides are parallel, if you can show that opposite sides are congruent, if you can show that opposite angles are congruent, or if you can show the diagonals bisect each other, or if you can show that at least one pair of opposite sides are both parallel and congruent, then you can say that whatever your quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Okay? Okay, last slide. So here's quadrilateral QRST, and those are the vertices it gives you. Determine whether the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Justify your answer by using the slope formula. So I'm telling you, in this case, what formula you need to use. So you need to use the slope formula, right? So if we're using the slope formula, then which of these properties are we trying to use to say that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram? If I'm telling you to use the slope formula, what am I trying to show? Nope. Because is the slope formula going to tell me that they're congruent? Not the slope formula. What does the slope formula tell me? What their slopes are? Yes. And what do I know about slopes? Yes, that they're parallel. That because parallel lines have the same slope, right? So if I can show that the opposite sides are parallel, then I can say that it is a parallelogram. All right, so what's the slope of QR? What is it? Okay. One moment, please. Got to get my little writing utensil together. All right, so this one is -1/2. What is the slope of RS? What's the slope of RS?
Four.
4. Thank you. What's the slope of TS? -1/2. And what's the slope of QT? Haha, QT. I went there yesterday. What's the slope of QT? 4. All we doing is rise over run, guys. Y'all making it so hard. Rise over run. So are opposite sides parallel? Yes, because their slopes are equal. That's it. That's all you gotta do. All right. Questions?